Welcome to Coming Home with Dr.Onalee. It is my intention to help you really come home to yourself after being in a narcissistic or an emotionally unavailable, avoidant kind of relationship. My intention is to help you step into your power, step into your worth, step into your beauty. The topic I want to talk to you about today is to truly be at the point where you get exhausted. All of the times in my life where I finally have quit something that wasn't healthy for me, I didn't quit when I was angry. I didn't quit when I was mad. I didn't quit when there was so much pain and chaos and drama. Although I would always swear off that I was done. I would say, I'm never texting this person again. I'm never going to let them back in. I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to smoke again. I'm never going to vape again. I'm never going to. And then what would happen? After I would calm down, after some time would pass, I would always reopen the door. I would think that this time's going to be different. I would think that maybe if I change this, if I'm not like that, if he changes, it was the insanity of it all. Thinking that something that keeps hurting me is going to eventually not hurt me anymore after some time has passed. And so, what I learned and what I started to see even with my clients was that when I would get to the point of just exhaustion and just defeat, those were the times when I finally closed the door and kept it closed. So, for me with drinking, the drink before my final drink, the day before, I only had one margarita. And I was hungover the whole next day after one margarita. And I poured myself a glass of wine the next day at 6 p.m. And I looked down at the glass of wine and I just said, you do nothing for me. You're going to give me a buzz for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to want another and another and another. And then I'm going to be hungover for 3 days. And this is not ending. And I had many rock bottoms with drinking. I had many crashes, many burns. But the time where I decided I was 100% done and really meant it was the time where I was just exhausted. I was just over it. I wasn't angry about it. It was almost this nonchalant kind of, I'm just, ugh, that's it. I can't take it anymore. It was the same thing for me with my last narcissistic relationship. It felt more like a situationship with an avoidant. This person didn't outwardly gaslight me. There was no reactive abuse. It was none of that, but I never felt fully chosen or prioritized. And I held on and off for 4 years of hoping this relationship would go back to the way that it felt in the beginning, where the beginning felt like magic. It felt like hope. It felt like possibility. I had the butterflies in my stomach. But the thing is, those went away and they never came back. It never went back to how it was that I was holding on to because I knew that that relationship was capable of it. Can you relate to that? You maybe are holding on for dear life because you've gotten glimpses of how it can be with this person, even though time after time, year after year, they haven't shown you that side of them. It hasn't truly gone back to the way it was in the beginning. So when I closed the door, I had closed the door many times before. I would see them on Bumble. I wouldn't hear from them and I would swear them off. And I said, I'm done. I would block them, block their phone number, block Facebook. And I felt really empowered when I would do it. But then after some time would pass, and especially after trying to date other people and not really feeling attracted to other people, I would ruminate and I would miss that person. And I would start to think that this time will be different. Or maybe I wasn't chill enough. I wasn't cool enough. I didn't give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they needed to do more healing because of some traumatic thing that they went through in their family. And so I would justify and I would rationalize. I would hold on to dear life for somebody who never was ultimately fully choosing me and valuing me. Even though when we were together, they didn't treat me like dirt or anything. But the way I felt, especially when I wasn't with that person, that was where I didn't feel good. And so by the final time, since I had closed the door out of anger so many times, the final time I was just exhausted. I was just burned out and I was done. And I finally started to see a pattern in my life that that was what was required for me to get to the point of I am 100% over this and I know that I have exhausted all my attempts. So you might be thinking here that you've closed the door so many times or you've tried to walk away and it hasn't worked and you can't seem to keep the door closed. The point I want to make is that every single time is always leading you to the time where you actually are exhausted and burned out and just done. So I do not curse all the times before where I swore off that I was done and I wasn't, because they all eventually led me to the one where it was the final one where I was done. And I eventually had so many attempts of realizing it's never going to be different. But the one that finally changed it was just the exhausted, defeated one. So I'm saying this to say to you, do not curse how many times it's taken, how many years it's taken. You also might not be able to fully control the time where you finally feel exhausted and defeated, deflated, just over it. I couldn't have predicted that that was going to be the last one or how I was going to feel, but it just was. So maybe right now I'm just planting a seed for you. Or maybe you have gotten to the point where you're just tired, you're exhausted. But do not curse or think that you've messed it up because it's taken you a lot of times and you swore it off and you got back together with whatever it is, especially the narcissist, but any unhealthy addiction, anything that you know that you want to quit, but you can't seem to quit on your own. I just pray you get to the point, the time where you're just so over it. I've seen this with my clients so many times, especially in the beginning. They come to me and they might even have thoughts of this person, even though they know they don't want to be back with this person, but some of the thoughts might creep up. And then by the end of the session or after 3 months, after some time, they don't think the same way at all about this person. The desire has lifted. They are not ruminating. They are not obsessing. But I've worked with so many clients over the years where I've started to see we don't know the exact date or how long it will take. We just got to trust you will get to that point. Just like if you were an alcoholic, you don't know the exact date the desire and the obsession is going to be lifted. Some people it's lifted like that. Some people it takes a while. But we have to show up for it as if we're going to trust and believe that eventually it is going to be lifted. So that's what I want to leave you with today. The point of just over it, just done, not mad, not even angry, I can't, I can't. It's almost that softer, more neutral kind of energy that really has us keep the door closed. It's a powerful place to be in. If you've struggled with this for a while, I just pray for that. I hope that that happens to you in the best way possible so that you can finally know that one of the times where you're done is finally the time where you actually mean it and it actually happens. I look back to the most textbook narcissistic relationship that I was in, the one that sparked this career. There there were a few times I tried to get back with this person. This person tried to get back with me. I knew I was never going to fully let them back in. But when I can look back in hindsight, 6 years later, there eventually was a time where it was the last time. And all of the times that happened up until it were part of the process. So I don't curse any of those times where I swore that relationship off and I didn't fully close the door, because once I fully closed the door and I was defeated and exhausted with it, I was done. I never reopened that door ever again. And I've had that with so many other addictions in my life. Eventually, one of the times is the time where you're just done. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't gotten to that point. Can you trust? Can you have faith? Can you believe that you will get to that point? And so, especially if the narcissist does something baffling and you're so upset about it, can you see that maybe that is your higher power showing you who this person really is and how it's going to be if you continue on? None of it's for a mistake. Even the way that my narcissist had left me wasn't a mistake. That was exactly what needed to happen so that I would fully close the door, 100%. Eventually. Because of the way he did it, it was always lingering in the back of my mind. So when I felt weak, when I was ruminating, or when he would come back, deep down, I knew I couldn't ever fully get back with him. But had he left me or had a conversation and done it in a cordial way, could be a very different story. I might not have generated this company that's now created multiple six figures, helping thousands of people recover from narcissistic relationships, had I not gone through the pain that I went through. God used my pain for good to help carry the message. So it's my intention for you to really implement even one thing that you heard here. Maybe pull out your journal, maybe go on a walk, have a conversation, do something with what it is that you just heard right now. Take an action. Even if the action is going inward and taking a look, taking an inventory, you're always being guided. You're always being led. The signs are there. You just got to be open and aware of them. So I would love to hear what you're implementing from today, what breakthroughs you had. Share with me your wins. If you close the door, if you finally something locked in and it resonated with you, share with me. I love to hear. Go ahead and shoot me a message on Instagram at Dr.Onalee. And if you want to do some further work together, there's so many different options, so many different ways. You can also DM me or go to the show notes, some of the links in there. I guarantee no matter where you're at, we have something that can support you on your journey of coming home and recovering from narcissistic relationships. The work isn't even about focusing on narcissists. The work is about helping you step into your power, come home to yourself, get more connected with a God of your understanding. Be more of who your creator says you are and less of who the narcissist says you are or anyone else. That's a powerful, magical place to be. And I really pray and hope that you get to experience that in this lifetime. So it's been an honor that you've taken your time out of your day to listen to me, to be here, to be present, to take this in. You could be listening to anything else. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to invest your time. And for that, I'm grateful. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, amazing rest of your night, and I will be talking to you soon.